Hello and welcome back to Efficient Base Building. Choosing the base location. This is a picture of my old base where I left you the last time. So, choosing a base location, you need to have it close to running water because in winter ponds will freeze over and your water catchers won't work. Second, you need it to be reasonably close to resources, food and trees and rocks. Especially food, which is sort of nice to be able to find. And finally, it's preferable to find it somewhere where you can utilize the natural protection. For example, deep water that mutants can't cross, and or a cliff face that they can't climb. There is only 3 locations on the map that I've found so far that fulfills all of these criteria. And the first one is the one you see on the picture. It's right here by that little lake in the northwestern part. This is my favorite place to build. It's close to a 3D bunker. There's a camp somewhere quite close by, over there I think. And you're quite close to the North Beach, which has quite a lot of loot. Really nice place. And it's close to spawn point where there's more loot. So here we are, we're back at this particular place, as you can see on the GPS. There's these waterfalls, and that's where I built my first base. That was part of the first sort of series of this efficient base building. Here you can see where I started building. This is actually an old save, so this doesn't look like that special building I built. I really recommend this little peninsula as the first base location, really. It's quite easy to build a single wall straight across like I did earlier. Of course, I used a different building when I showed in earlier videos. But you can sort of start off, just build one straight across. It's maybe 40 logs, 50 logs. Then if you need to expand, like I've done here, you can kind of continue outwards with your defensive wall. But this is really quite a good place to start. It's simple, you don't need that many logs. And it makes it a fairly good place. Let's see, then you can always continue. Over there is still the same location, but a different area. I'm gonna do the free camera thing. There we go. It's by these waterfalls. There are actually several places where you can build easily and efficiently. It's quite shallow, this water, but it doesn't freeze over. And just below the waterfalls, there's this area with really shallow water. Build out there. Mostly the cannibals, at least the cannibals won't go out, and most mutants won't. That little island, in fact, they won't go to that little island either, so that's a good place to make a first camp as well. Puffies and fingers tend to jump across, but still, it's not a bad place. And from this area below the waterfalls, you can actually go on and build outwards with a little trick, which I'll show you in a different video. But you keep working out and you can build quite a large base that way. There's a lot of good places here around this little lake. The second one is let me show you. Yeah, here we go. That's this rocky part that sticks out, and you can close it off with a defensive wall, and there's sheer cliff faces on both sides. Either you do it below over here somewhere, or you can take it up a little bit more. It's really hard for them to actually get across there, and it doesn't take too many logs either to make a defensive wall right there. You can go sort of across there. They can't get up or down the cliffs, so that's quite efficient too. There is a slope there that you don't want to build too close for that because it makes it easier for them to jump over your defensive wall. But you can pull it up quite a lot to give it a large area to build on. Just to show you a little bit what it looks like. This is my most recent base here. I've gone a little bit wild. I started building up there. Yeah. I got a bit carried away, I think. But it's on this rocky ledge, and I closed it off a little bit further up, almost by a little bit above the waterfalls. And I started closing it off with a log wall, defensive wall. But then I continued building, and I'm using the building as my defensive wall. This is going a bit crazy. Well, there's lots of spikes on electric fences. It really, yeah. I don't have to worry about cannibals there. There's little contraptions just so that Virginia and Kelvin gets over. They can climb the fences and the spikes, while the cannibals and mutants usually can't. This is obviously a weak spot, but I want Kelvin and Virginia to be able to go in and out of the base. They can't use the big doors, unfortunately. And here's just a combination, electric fence and spikes through the wall. Takes care of most problems. I don't really have to worry. Quite handy, in fact. And I usually use this is one of my overhangs, and I usually use the ropes. And as you can see, I've defended it with spikes. The good thing is that you can put spikes all the way out and still use the ropes without taking damage. It's good to know. Anyway, this is what might happen when you get a little bit too carried away. So, wouldn't recommend building something like this for the first base. Just build one and expand. Okay, so we're going to go to the second location. We're going to use go to zone to teleport. We just need to get into cheat stick. Let's see. No, yes, here we go. I'm going to put God mode on so I don't have to bother about food and stuff. And let's see, go to zone. And I use the zone from my map, FR. Here we are. Right. I think it gets you sort of in the general area of the place. Oh, right. Now, sorry, this was a different location. This is just below the island with the lake. I thought this was a good idea, but it's not. It's really not. I thought I could build out here and, because I was swimming, so I figured it's too deep for the cannibals to cross, except... Oh shit, there's blue puffies too. Damn it. Let's see, where's there we go. Shotgun, thank you. And bugger off. Anyway. So, yeah, this is not an ideal place. I thought it was. The thing is that when you start swimming, the puffies and the fingers, at least, can walk another couple of squares out. So the water just wasn't sufficient enough to stop them. So... Ouch! Damn it! Okay, let's get the hell out of here. Anyway, this is not a good place. It looks like a good place. It's not, even though you're swimming in the river. They can get across. Okay, here we are. It's down here by the lake and the waterfalls. Here we are. It's a nice place. It has a camp. Unfortunately, it attracts a lot of cannibals. A lot of loot, which is nice. Winter jacket is here. Turn that off. And there's a lot of rope up there on the waterfalls, and there's a big lake. Some people like building on the lake, and you can do that in winter, but that also means the cannibals and the mutants can walk across the ice. So this is a little bit, it's a good location, but it's a little bit more advanced because you need to build underwater, and you can do that by placing, building a ramp down and placing a watchtower. In this case I did a watchtower because I could easily reach it from the top of those cliffs. It's just this ledge here, and you place it a bit out, and then you build it, and then you cannot dismantle it, because all you want is the floor inside where you can stand. And then from there you can kind of sneak out on the edge and place logs, and you can start building a grid outwards like this. I'm gonna show that later, I think. I'm just gonna give you an idea. Once you have something to stand on, and if the water is not too deep, it should be about the frame and 2 logs up at the most, and you can work yourself outwards. Let's see if I can show you this. Might be too deep. No, maybe. You have to sort of edge out until you get the... Oh, this is not working, is it? Oh no, there you go. You don't want to be too close to the shore, like I said. This end of the lake is quite deep. You can keep placing logs as long as you get a white arrow. You can keep placing logs, and you can extend the grid as long as you can do this. Mind you don't want to get too close to the shore, because at least fingers and puffies do try to run out in the water, even though they don't like it. It's quite handy, but it's also tricky to build. This is something that's more, maybe a little bit more advanced base building. Not really what you need, sort of your initial base. We're gonna try it out. I spawned a couple of fingers. They seem to be more into going into the water than others. So let's see, this side, it's pretty close. This is fairly deep water though. They don't seem to want to get out here. Come on, yeah, they're trying. See, they can walk. I was swimming there. So you definitely want a couple of squares out from where you started swimming. But they don't like the water. See if we can entice them to come here. Come on, guys. Come on. Make a jump. Come here. Come. Oh, there you go. They can walk quite far out, but that was too deep for him. So it's really... Yeah, come on, let's see how far out you can go. Sometimes it's a bother to get up on these, but you can swim upwards and jump. He's trying his best, but... see, they can get quite far out, but they are reluctant to do it, which gives you times to shoot them. Combine the outer wall with some spikes, and they're gonna kill themselves. So that works quite well. Sort of. Tired of you. And they take damage in the water too. Right, so this was location 2. I think we're gonna... let's maybe should we spawn a few of these on this side. This end of the lake is... yeah. Let's just get the hell out of here. To the next spawn. Sorry, next base location, I mean. My third base location is on the eastern side of the map. Just by that sort of wider part of the river. There's a high cliff that you can sort of cordon off with a defensive wall, and you get quite a good base. Quite a good sized base too. For very little amount of work. It's probably better for a sort of late game base. It's right next to the final bunker, which is about here, I believe. So it's sort of it's good for an end of game base. And well, a lot of cannibals there too, but that's true everywhere. So here we are. I've already built a platform here. I'm going to try to show you a little bit. We're going to close this wall. So this is by this large river. I built my usual shooting stand. That was a little bit too low, so they jump up there. I need to do that with spikes. And it's sort of on a tip of a very high cliff. So you kind of get a lot of protection that way. You just need one wall, basically. I tried building in the river. It didn't work. It's too shallow. They kind of run across anyway. But it was fun trying. I'm gonna try to show you a little bit how this works. I use free camera on, and here we go. It's a bit sensitive, but you can see the area. It's quite high cliffs here, but there you go. You see, it's this rocky ledge. It's high cliffs on 4 sides, so you really only need one wall. Sorry, it's a bit difficult handling this camera actually. And you just need this one log wall, really, defensive wall. And it's not that many logs. I think it's like 40 or 50 logs, which is quite handy. And I built this platform so I could shoot along. Hold on, you see I can shoot along the wall. I always like building those. That one was poorly placed because they can actually jump up onto it. Let's see. Oh well, maybe he tries to get around, but they can't get around there. Oh, Virginia's swimming. So yeah, I tried these platforms. It makes a good bridge, but not the base. The puffies run across. So here we are. Looks pretty nice, huh? Let's maybe we should try this out. Oh, back in my body again, and let's see. Add characters. Cannibals. Let's see what happens. Cannibal 20. Let's add 20. There we go. See how this works. In my test world, they're not as aggressive as normal. I turn their aggression down, but you can piss them off. Oh, they're drowning down there. That's bad. Let's see if we can annoy them a bit. I'm out of stones. Let's use this arrow. Let's see if we can piss them off a little bit. This is my test world, so they're not as aggressive as normal. I lowered their aggression. Come on, come on, come to daddy. No, they usually don't try to get up here. The water's a little bit too deep, and the cliff face behind me here stops them. So you can build quite efficient defense here. And there's Virginia swimming on dry land. How did that work? Hi, hey, don't hurt Virginia. Okay, well, this is getting out of hand. I think we need to... Well, she will be alright. I've never actually seen cannibals or mutants kill Virginia or Kelvin. It's every time they've died, they... it's usually that I've shot them by mistake or slashed them with a sword or an axe when I'm trying to defend them. So the best way is really to leave them alone until you can go down and give them a little bit of help. And even so, sort of. And even so, they tend to get better. Here we go. Oh, she's swimming again. No. I need to reload anyway. So this is location 3, and we're out of cannibals. Let's add something else. Let's add some puffies or something. Let's see. Let's add some... Oh, shit. No. I don't think it works when you write it with capitals. Puffy, 20. 20 puffies. Let's see how they react. They can run further into the water. Okay, so they all go along here, and you see, this is why I build these little platforms. I can shoot along the wall. Excellent defense, but they do kind of jump up here, though. This was a poorly placed platform. And as you can see, the regular defensive wall takes quite a lot of damage, so we're okay. Let's see on this side. This is definitely a weak spot. They can kind of run in the water. Let's see if we can piss them off a little bit here. So they try to get up. But there's a high cliff and there's quite deep waters in it. Oh, well, they got up there. I don't think they can get up here. Let's see. Come on. Come on. Oh. They can't get up. Piss them off a little bit. Oh, okay. Well, kill them. So this is a pretty safe place, and it's actually quite a large area. You can build quite a big base. I always think that 2x3 is enough for living quarters, but yeah, it's fun to build bases. I can help myself. Because these platforms, like I said, I tried that. They just run straight across. Here they go. Oh, the whole bunch. Well, anyway, oh shit. Anyway, even though I'm swimming, they're running, so bad idea. They don't like the water, but they certainly do get out and they like to kill you. So, well, I'm out of here. Enough of this. And did I just swim in air? Oh, I did. Well, let's get the hell out of here. I'm going to give you a couple of more alternative base locations. These are requires a little bit more advanced building. Oh well, they require more building. We're by the helipads on the eastern side of the island. I'm going to put the free camera on and we're going to go and have a look. This is where I built my base during the end game last time. And it's by this waterfall. You can actually cordon it off fairly easily. Downside is that, well, you can cordon this sort of ledge off quite easily, but it takes a long wall. Downside is that this little pond here freezes over and you cannot collect water out of the waterfall. So this is strictly summer based, to be honest. And let's go and have a look at it. You can actually go upstairs. I'm going to remove the trees. Trees cut all. Actually, what does tree radius do? Let's try that. 50. Does nothing apparent. Okay, we try the cut all trees then. Within 100 meters. There we go. So on top of the waterfall, well, down there, it's quite. You need to build quite a long wall. This is where I showed you the advanced base building part 2, or the efficient base building with the electric fences, but it needs a long fence on both sides. So still, you get a large area, you can build a lot. On the top, you can actually, well, there at least you have water, and you can sort of utilize this area. There's high cliffs on each side, and well, it's not ideal. You don't have any fish in the river. This side stops them at least for a while. Basically, you can try this. If you jump up easily, so can they. If you have trouble getting up, well, then the cannibals and the mutants can't get up. So you can cordon off a good size area, but you still need to build a defensive wall on 2.5 sides. So it's not excellent, really. I think there's oysters in this river though, but there's no fish. Anyway, that's it for this location. It's quite good. It's quite close to the end game. It's also where you sort of respawn if you get hurt by Yanyu the Blob. Final bonus location, it's really a little bit more advanced building. It's by this little lake down here. It's quite close to the 3D printer. There's an abundant camp there with quite a lot of loot. And it's between 2 cliffs. So you can actually, you can build a decent base there, a decent sized base, but it requires quite a long defensive wall to cordon it off on 2 sides. But you can really make it work, and it fulfills all 3 criteria. It has running water, a lot of resources, and loot, and you can sort of utilize the natural formations for defense. But it needs quite a long wall. I wouldn't recommend this as a first base. Anyway, I think that's it. We'll continue next time. Bye.